Hey Nippers, it's me. Arc Ranger Black has come out, so it's time to do some testing. Alright, so here we are. We have a blue collection item up to 15. I actually do not have an upgrade quite yet, so we'll have to work on that a little bit. She's just 777, and she has some okay overloads. The only attack there, crit's okay there too. Elemental. Here we have elemental, and here we have attack and elemental. This is actually pretty good. So pretty happy about that. We'll test her out in a couple of areas. So let's get going. All right, time for Kraken. So normally here I would SBS over Arc Black Ranger, but we're gonna use Arc Black Ranger here for the testing. So with SBS on the team, normally I get to the full clear with about 20-ish seconds left on the clock or so. So that's like pretty ideal overall. Hopefully we can do, about as equal here, or maybe even a little bit better. Even like be full clear, that's pretty good because the Arc Black Ranger is much less invested overall than SBS is on the current account, obviously. So with this particular team, I want to try to burst with Nayuta as much as possible, but right here, because I know the boss is going to use an AoE pretty soon, I want to use the crown buff for the shield. So there we go. Actually, I got to throw it up so we can just actually use that unit right here, because we still have the barrier. I don't always have the third burst up in time for the AoE, but that time I did. And actually, it wasn't really even close. So it destroyed all the parts because that's the name of the game. That's why we have the Arc Black Ranger, and she took a little damage there, unfortunately. So here we're gonna use the Crown Burst though for the barrier, and the way it's AoE here is that when it does that missile, and I believe it does it on the left side. There's gonna be the AoE. So after this, the second one, it'll break apart, so shell will break. There we go. And just do more damage here. And in this case here, we're gonna cover and switch to Crown, because Crown is the safest one for destroying these stupid things. In Anomaly, they don't require a lot of damage to clear, so shouldn't be really that much of trouble overall. But they are very, very easy to clip, right? In order to mess up and you hit the wrong one, because the red ones are easy to clear too, but it also means that the white ones too, the ones you don't want to hit, are also very easy to destroy, and that can really mess things up. So this stage here, we just want to try to kill these as fast as possible, and right here it will use AoE soon. So we're gonna actually do a crown, and the particular AoE is very strong. So we just do a little damage here. We're gonna cover though, just to be safe, because I have had it kill even through the crown shield. Well, I could use that unit there, but whatever. We're actually doing pretty good here. We are making pretty good progress overall. It's gonna be close. I don't think we're gonna make it, but okay, we almost made it. I do think I maybe could have squeezed a little more damage out overall. So I do think that with this team right here, as it is, Kraken is full clearable with maybe a little bit better play. If I did keep the full screen QTE a little bit faster, I could have made it too. I just didn't want to, I already messed up once before when I recorded this, so I don't want to mess up again and have to keep resetting it for the run. But yeah, so definitely, I would say clearable with pretty, obviously, Pilgrim, Overspec, Pilgrim, and there's one other, character right here. But yeah, that's not that bad. And another thing I think people want to see is going to be her as an off burst with SBS and Lib on the team. So instead of Nayuta, you just use her as the off burst instead. And then we also have the same rest of the team too. So here we go. This one is obviously simpler to use because you don't have to be like remembering to burst with Nayuta and then using Crown when you have to, because you only have Crown um to burst with. So here we go. Do this here. Let me actually swap to her just so you can see her, right? Like it doesn't really matter who you have, like as long as you're doing your damage um on your control. Obviously too, I think a lot of people want to do is like, yo, can you auto this? It's like, probably. Um to a point, right? You still have to take manual control in order to do these stupid what do you call it? The QTEs and the red circles and stuff like that. But remember here though is that we don't have a heal, so we are not proccing Crown's ability. So, but we have to see though if Arc Black Shadow's like off burst capabilities and adding in like another DPS like SBS can make up for that. So, and see right there, you can see that she's transformed because um she has her mask on, and because the boss has so many parts, she will stay transformed for the entirety of the fight, basically. Now, the other downside about this team, though, is that, what do you call it? Without the heal, like, mistakes are amplified. So, see, Anise got damaged there somehow. I don't know how exactly, but she did. Let's do this. A little late on that. Did a little damage there. Let's watch the crown though, so I don't mess up on this stupid QTE again. But yeah, like it's still the same fight, right? Like everything's very simple. Again, you do lose that safety net of the heal, where now if something wrong happens, again, the run is over because the Kitties will die, unfortunately. And you're wondering too why I'm using Anise over Siren? That's because Anise is actually just better in this fight most of the time, right? Now, I don't know about every account, but most of the time let's cover here because without cover, I will die. Holy crap! That killed like all of my barriers, which is unfortunate. Um, some lag there. I was just, like trying to hit my, and here it doesn't matter if I cover or not because um okay, the berry at that time get it. Okay, so not quite as good, right? Um Off burst definitely a little less damage. Mainly because I think we don't get the buff from Crown when we use it this way. So, at least in that first initial testing, not quite as good, but decent enough, right? Like, if you don't have Nayuta and you have these other 4 units instead, then yeah, this is going to be a pretty good team. Now, again, obviously, like, full Pilgrim, and Overspec, besides just one character, but it is what it is. So now for something that I don't actually know how it's going to go, it's going to be against Modernia in the Solo Raid Museum. So this is the Win Week boss, and it has parts that respawn quite often. This will be the first thing we're going to use, just as the baseline. So Crown, Siren, Liberio, SBS, and then Helm. This team, just because I don't really want to, have the manual control that much, I just kind of want to do the QTE, the red circle things, if possible. So let's go in here and see how this goes. It's been a while since I've done this, so I know that the solo raid one, the mechanics are slightly different. So let's do right here, and let's see if it actually targets the core. Okay, it did. Okay, If you don't know, for this particular boss, if you don't kill the core fast enough, it does like a huge AoE, and it does a lot of damage. So, and it just like you can cover it, right? But it will completely wipe your cover. Also, for this boss, when you destroy its like missile launchers, it will teleport away and start doing this annoying like missile barrage at you, and your damage is greatly cut because you can't target it. Now, the reason why it hasn't teleported here is simply because I've done so much damage to it that I kind of skipped that phase. So yeah, the thresholds you have to, reach and stuff like that. So that's what's going on here. So coming up soon will be the one of the red circles, I believe. Oh no, it teleported. So there we go. It's teleporting, and you see right there the missile launchers are shooting its missiles, and it's teleporting away, unfortunately. And there we go. So here too, what some people do is they'll pause buffer. So they'll pause with like a sniper, and then they'll like move their cursor to where the missile launcher is and snipe them off. Sometimes people do that. Again, like I think I've said before that I don't like using tactics like that. So, but now the boss will come up again, and it'll do that, and eventually the boss will disappear, and you will and it'll force to do its AoE, and you will be forced to um cover up. But that's near the end of the fight, so. But yeah, that's the whole fight here, right? I know Modernia is a pretty old boss, so nothing too surprising here. But we're just trying to see how much damage we are gonna rack up. Oh, better. Oh, I missed one, but that's okay. You can miss one, right? Not the biggest deal in the world. I actually don't even remember what it happens when you miss that one, because in like challenge mode here, not in no limit. No limit is different. No limit, you have to do the mechanics properly, but in regular challenge mode, the bosses are set to be like their strength when they're released, right? So they are a lot weaker. And this is where we have to cover. So we're gonna do this here, and we're gonna cover right now. And you'll see that my cover went away. Not all went away, right? When but it would have done a lot of damage, and it also stuns you, which is not the most helpful thing. Oh, forgot about that part. Yeah, then here it just starts spamming red circles everywhere. All right, so 4.55 and results. So Lib, Black Shadow, 1.5, 1.27, Siren about 1, and then Crown and Helm just for supporting, just do whatever they're doing. Right, so 4.55, that's going to be the benchmark of what we want to hit. Alright, so we're going to try this here with this team here with the summer limited characters and with Arc Like Ranger, because she buffs both of these characters right here. Other two characters are going to be the same. Now, the thing is though, is that my other two characters, they suck. The Rosanna has 777 and maybe the worst lines you've ever seen on a character ever. The Sakura is even better because she has no gear. In fact, I don't even have the right pair of boots for her, and she has no skill ups. Also, she has no doll either. She doesn't have a cube though. So here we go. Hopefully we can do this here. In this one here too, I do have to take some manual control just so that I can kill the core fast enough, just to be sure. After I kill the core, I can relax a little bit though, because I won't be hit with that huge AoE. What would I consider good here, right? Like, the other thing got 4.55, right? I don't even know, like 2.5, maybe I consider good, something like that. You know, um, anyway, this is with a team with like no investment at all, so you can tell like the Sakura is already dying. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you have like no gear on. Okay, that was close. We almost didn't kill the core fast enough there. Yeah, here. Unfortunately, I had the mana control just so I could snipe some of the missiles out of the sky. Um, because if it hits Sakura, she dies. Okay, you know what? Halfway through and 1.3. That's 2.5 pace. That's decent. Definitely, I would say. Um, I like that. I like that swirly effect that um one of the characters is giving it. It looks really cool. Okay, it's gonna use its AOE, so I had to cover here, and all my cover disappeared, which is great. Um, so when it does it again, like there's a scripted one near the end of the fight, and that will kill me. Here it is, right? So we're with that. No, actually, hold on. Can I get to Crown to Helm's Burst fast enough? I can. Okay. Well, well, Black Ranger died unfortunately. Pretty close though, and unfortunately here we we, we lose that QTE. But okay, you know, we died because we have no gear, but pretty pretty good showing. Um, like honestly, um, with more gear, better lines, you know, do I think I get to 4.5? Eh, I don't know. Like I don't think so. Okay, like I think we're on pace for what there, like 2.8 ish, something like that, like 2.75. Um, I think we can get to 4, right? Like I think that better lines here, and maybe some better Rosanna lines and some gear and stuff on Sakura actually. Big 4 isn't a possibility. Now, I won't notice for sure until I test her out and get better gear on her, but I don't have any gear. I don't have enough fodder in order to gear her up, but I will try, definitely. Alright, so after some Pepega testing, what do I think about Arc Black Ranger? I actually think that she's a pretty good unit. For Kraken, definitely viable, definitely clear with her. If you have obviously other good units too. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't have other like more free to play ish friendly characters built in order to like fully test out if like a team maybe missing like more of the programs, more of the meta characters can be used to clear it. But I think it would be able to, right? I definitely think that it's possible to clear it with maybe a little more investment, a little more work. Thing is though, is just doing that for Kraken good enough to pull over for? No, at least not at the current time. If she released like at a different time of the year, then I would say, you know what? If you need her, you can pull her. But with summer just around the corner, and we know that there are going to be multiple 1% banners and stuff like that coming out, you definitely want to try to save your resources. Unless you have to try to build for pity. And in addition to two, you have that summer limited banner where I definitely think at least getting a Nice, if you want to get one of those and want to pull one of those instead, takes preference over getting her. Um, in addition to this too, that with summer coming around, the update will come up, and so you'll be able to wishlist her pretty quickly after her event ends. So yeah, I mean that's really what it is. Now, in terms of Sakura and Rosanna, um, I would still probably say that you probably want to get Helm, um, before them. So Anise, then Helm, and then Rosanna and Sakura. Um, it's just that yes, they did seem to have a pretty decent showing against Verdernia. Remember, their investment is terrible and they have no gear on at all. Um, but that is a very specific boss, right? It has to be like, win week with parts. And how often is that going to come up, right? It's like we've been waiting for a Fire Week boss with a core forever so that Alice can shine. Now, I guess Alice kind of shone in the last Solar Raid too, just for having a core. But yeah, like, do I think the next Solar Raid boss has a core? I mean, has parts? Yes. Um, actually, I noticed there's a preview for it, but I didn't actually watch it. I'm betting though that it has parts. But even then, right? Unless you are a person who is chasing like rank in solo raid, I would wait on it. Obviously, if you have the pulls and you can, spend and stuff like that, by all means, try to get the units you want to get because it'll be an entire other year before they come back. But also remember too that this event lasts for a very long time, so we have a very long time in order to test it out and see what the teams are like before you make your decision. So let people like me, take the hit in, all the testing and stuff like that and using resources beforehand. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, definitely like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what do you think about Arc Black Ranger overall. Anyways, I, Wild Neptune, been a good one. Till next time.